Good morning. Well, it's the day after. And, you know, I'm going to will it to be a good morning. I don't feel exactly like I've processed everything from yesterday. So today is going to be a day of recovery for me and should be for you too. It's okay for us to process and to deal a little bit with the way that we're feeling. But at the same time, we're gonna move forward. We're gonna make the fermented carrots today. And I have another interesting surprise about something I'm gonna do with the carrot tops, which my friend Marilyn suggested. So let's get started. Let's make it a good day. So here we have my purple carrot harvest, plus a few errant golden carrots that I picked. Now, I'm going to be taking the tops off, and in order to take the tops off, I'm only going to be using, for example, sort of the leafy parts when I cook the carrot tops, and I'll talk to you about that. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is cutting, and then, whoops, after I do that, I'm going to have to I actually am going to have to peel the carrots because for the fermenting process, it's important that they're clean and that there's no chance for infection in the fermenting jar. So that's going to be a process because I've already tried to peel these tiny little carrots and it's a job, but I'm still going to do it. And just so you know, as you know, these are cosmic purple carrots. Now they're purple on the outside, but they are orange on the inside. They are supposed to be 9 inches. So I didn't quite get to the 9 inches. That's okay. They're gonna be delicious and tasty anyways. Here we go. So as I drink my morning tea and organize the carrots, there's one more thing I wanted to say about yesterday. And that is that my husband was so amazing. He wrote 3 newsletters yesterday, 3 in a day. That's just extraordinary. His devotion to that work really inspires me. And then, if you can believe it, he got up this morning and he had to dispose of a dead possum that was in the backyard. So today he told me he gets to do whatever he wants to do, and I agree with him 100%. So, all right, so here's the carrots. Now let me show you, maybe you can see better on this side, that I'm going to cut the carrot tops, which I'm going to be using, and I'm going to show you how to do it right here. Okay, so I just have sort of the green leafy parts. These parts of the carrot that I'm going to cut off for the fermentation, I'm not going to use. Those do not soften up enough when you fry them. So I'm going to cut off the little bottom parts, cut off the little top part, make a little bit more there, and that's going to be a carrot that's going to be going into the fermenting jar. So just like that, that's it. You know, and the thing is, you can do this with carrots that you get from the store if you don't buy carrots in bags. I know at Gelson's they always say to me, do you want me to take the tops off? And I say, yes, absolutely. But now, depending on how these taste, I'll let you know. Maybe I won't do that. So let me get through this and then I'll show you the process of peeling, which is going to be a big adventure. All right, so I have finished the trimming of the carrots. You can see all these little funny looking guys. And the next step is to peel them. So I'll show you a little bit about that. And look at this gorgeous boat of carrot greens. I'm excited to try those for dinner tonight. I'll show you how that turns out. Okay, I'm ready for the next job. But first let me tell you, well, I have a confession. I'm not really a chef. I'm just a mom cook. I've just cooked for my family, you know, for all of my life, and I've cooked every single day in quarantine. Maybe we've had a couple takeout days, but literally since March, I've been cooking every single night. I enjoy cooking things from the garden, but I figure just because I'm not an expert at it doesn't mean that it can't be fun for you and I to share. So here we are. I am going to peel my carrots. Now, as I said, they're supposed to be 9 inches, and probably the biggest one is about 3 inches. So it's a little bit of a problem. Also, I was supposed to have 1.5 pounds of carrots. Now, I do have 1.5 pounds of carrots. I just showed you, and I measured them on my little scale. I have a little kitchen scale. It's called Eat Smart. I got it a long time ago for a diet, which did not turn out so well. But anyways, I measured the weight of the carrots, and they're about 1.6 pounds, so that's perfect. The problem is they're supposed to stick in the jars, you know, vertically, so that they're long carrot sticks. They're not going to be like that, but I'm going to do it anyways. The other thing that I want to tell you is that I'm using a kitchen glove to do the cutting, because I have a penchant for actually cutting myself in the kitchen. And so with this hand slicer, this hand peeler, there's a great opportunity for me to cut off my fingers. So I don't want that to happen. So I'm just going to peel each of them like this. Now this one, because it's a little bit bigger, is a little bit easier. I know you've done this a million times, so I don't need to show you how to do all of them. But it's going to be a big job, because this one, okay, not so hard. But like a little one like this, whoa, let's see. Yeah, that's going to be rough. That's a good reason why I need the glove. I'll show you when they're done. Phew, that was a big job, and it took me quite a while, but I think it's going to be worth it. Whew, this is really a complicated process, and it makes me appreciate my grandma so much, because she used to put up all kinds of, she used to say she was putting up tomatoes, and she had quarts and quarts of tomatoes and pickles and watermelon rinds, and oh my gosh, when you would go into her basement, she had a pantry full of things that she had canned. This is a little bit like canning, not exactly, it's fermenting. So I'm preparing to do that. This is the recipe, which I will put on in the blog. It's carrot sticks with a southern twist, and it requires some cumin seeds, some cilantro, and of course the carrots. So that's number one. Here's the jars. These are jars that my daughter gave me with the kit. Now you have to use distilled water, because there's less of a chance for bacteria to grow if you have really clean water. So I used 2 quarts of water in this pan, which I'm heating up. And then it also says you should use sea salt, because you need non-iodized salt. So those are the things that I'm going to start to use as I prepare the fermented carrots. Okay, we're in the last step of the fermenting process in terms of getting it into the jars and getting it into the pantry. It's been a long process, and I've had a few hiccups along the way. So here's the jars. I have the cilantro on the bottom and the garlic and cumin. You can see it looks quite lovely, very colorful. But because they're not jammed in, I'm going to have to put some weights on top. Now that's where we got into trouble, because I am spatially impaired in the sense that I should have known that these weren't quart jars from the very beginning, or maybe I didn't pay enough attention. But anyways, they're not quart jars. And so the apparatus that came with the gift that my daughter gave me, which is this lovely glass weight that goes on top, of course doesn't fit into the jar. And neither does the actual lid, which is very interesting, and it has a date counter on it and all that kind of thing. So I'm not going to be able to actually use the kit that my daughter gave me. But I've got the fermenting process under control. So here I have my distilled water with the salt. Do that. Ooh, I'm having a little trouble there. That's too much. I'll have to figure that out. Okay. That's just about right. And that's just about right. But you can see that I have dumped water all over the kitchen counter. That's lovely. All right, so now because I can't use this weight and because these have to be covered and will definitely float up if they don't, I am going to use some glass weights that I have that I have had in my bedroom. So I have this lovely little 4-leaf clover weight that I'm going to use. I'm going to put it in there. That's something good. And then I have another little heart weight that I'm going to put in there. And that should keep the carrots down under the brine for the time necessary for the fermentation. So then I'm just going to put this on loosely because one of the recipes that I read said just put it on loosely, and for 24 to 48 hours keep it on a plate because it might bubble over. I have no idea how this is going to turn out, and I can guarantee that however it turns out, my husband is not going to eat these because he thinks that I'm going to give him botulism. But it was a fun project. I'll try it. I'll let you know how it goes. All right, so the last task of the day after my big fermenting adventure is to make dinner for my sweet husband, who deserves it after the big day yesterday. So I'm just making a simple dinner. I'm just having spaghetti with some chicken meatballs. And I didn't make the chicken meatballs. They came from Gelson's. I'm just going to heat them up. But I am going to make the carrot tops. I'm going to saute the carrot tops. Now, I know I've read recipes where you can make chimichurri out of them and all kinds of things, but I'm going to just saute them because it feels more like my family. We never had chimichurris growing up, but my mom sauteed all kinds of greens, collard greens, beet greens, every kind of green. But I never had carrot greens, so let's just see how this goes. I've got 4 cups of greens here, so I'm going to put them all in. I didn't cut them up small, I just let them be. I know they'll cook down quickly. I'm going to put in a little bit of salt, and I'm going to put in a little bit of garlic. And then I'll saute. Let's watch. All right, so I have all the ingredients in the pan, and I'm sauteing them. I'm supposed to saute them for 2 to 3 minutes. Alexa, time 3 minutes. And then they're supposed to be ready. I don't think I minced the garlic as fine as I should have because I was in a rush. They look good and they smell good. I'll taste them when I'm done. It says you just need to keep sauteing them, keep turning them in the pan on medium-low heat. So, they're looking wilted, they're cooking down. I'll tell you when I'm done, and I'll taste them and tell you what I think. All right, here they are on my mom's beautiful tulip china. They look lovely. They look just like sauteed spinach, you know. Let me taste. I really like them. I do. I think you'll like them too. Maybe a little too much salt. And the recipe calls for red pepper flakes. I have a little bit of a heart condition, atrial fibrillation, and anything spicy really has the possibility of setting my heart into arrhythmia, so I don't do any spicy. But even so, the garlic and the salt, I liked it a lot. So we got through the week. A toast to us. Let's make it a good weekend.